back for round two, and this is going to be my April TBR slash hopefuls. So I started doing TBR videos back in January, and if you've seen them, you know how they work. I go through 3 different mediums, and that is physical, audiobook, and Kindle. So these are just going to be books that I am really hoping to get to or try to read. So I have about at least 8 or 9, possibly that might be turned to 5 or something, but who knows? I'm rambling, so let's go ahead and get started with the books I want to read physically. And some of these I definitely know I'm not going to get to, but I'm going to do my best here. And my next Stephen King book is going to be Hearts in Atlantis. And this is a novella collection. It is quite large. And this has stories like Low Men and Yellow Coats, Hearts in Atlantis, Blind Willie and Why We're in Vietnam, and Heavily Shades of Night Are Falling. So all these stories have to deal with the beginning of the Vietnam War and the aftermath of the Vietnam War. So the first story begins in 1960, and that is Low Men in Yellow Coats. And that's half of this book. God help me. But the rest of the novellas in here are a little bit shorter, but this might happen. But I do have 2 more hopefuls that I really do want to get to more than this one. So I might save this for May, but who knows. But that is Hearts in Atlantis by Stephen King. Set that puppy right there. And the next 2 books I want to show off, you'll probably see them in February. It is now April, but I still haven't gotten to them yet. But here they are. Mystic River by Dennis Lehane, and 4 childhood friends come into like a gruesome crime, and they just are there for each other. It's supposed to be a very, very good crime thriller, and I really do want to read this. So this might be my next book, but that is Mystic River by Dennis Lehane. And that other book is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. This is a revenge thriller that features a black and white man that just recently got out of prison, and they take revenge on the murders of their 2 sons. It's supposed to be a really, really good one. It's actually a little bit shorter than the 2 I just showed off. This goes to $3.19. So this has got to happen because I really do want to read this. I mean, I really do want to read it because it would be really up my alley. But that is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. And those are my possible 3 physical books that I'm going to get to. Maybe. So the next section is audiobooks. And I'm going to start off with The Plinko Bounce by Martin Clark. And this is a mystery thriller about a convicted murderer on trial for possibly a crime he didn't commit. So, it's kind of sounded like, well, I don't want to say Shawshank, but it's got that John Grisham flavor to it. Never read John Grisham, but this one is a courtroom action thriller. So that is The Plinko Bounce by Martin Clark. Next is a book that I did not have time to get to this month, but it will happen, and it is going to be my nonfiction pick. The Last Yakuza by Jake Adelstein. And this is just about the Japanese mafia and one of their most notorious bosses. So that's that. And the final book I have picked out for Audible in April, The Drowning Woman by Robin Harding. This one is a thriller, and it actually sounds pretty decent. So this is about like a homeless woman who is just down on her luck, and she just lives in her car. But one night, she notices a woman jumping into the river. So that could be the start of this woman haunting her. And it definitely sounds like a very good one. So those are the 3 I want to read on Audible. And then I have my Kindle picks. And some of these books that I have on Kindle picked out are a little longer, but I've just been like reading a lot of short novellas, and I actually kind of like want to read a fleshed out novel. So I have Night of the Prowler by John Athen. And this is about a woman who works a night shift at a gas station. She's there all by herself, but she is stalked by this madman who like escaped from a mental institution. So it kind of sounds like a slasher going on here. I've read Lovesick, and that story was messed up, so I'm hoping for like another very dark book by John Athen. So that's one. Next up is Tribesmen by Adam Caesar. I just really want to read that book. But this is his take on cannibal Holocaust. And that final book, if I have time, really sounds up my alley. Hell's Bells by Lisa Quigley. And this is book number 8 of the Rewind or Die series. Read quite a few of those stories, and I have enjoyed pretty much all of them. And I think this is my 4th in the series that I've read. But this takes place in 1991, and it's just about like these 4 girls that are into like dark rock and roll music, and they play like all these parlor games. They mess around with a Ouija board, and they also play light as a feather. So things go wrong one night, and they summon the devil himself and his cohorts of demons. So it sounds like a very fun time, and I'm all for that 90s vibe. So those are the books. I'm looking at you, Hearts in Atlantis. That I do want to try and get through this month and April. You know what I mean. But let's see how well I do. And that's all I got for this video. Short and sweet. And yeah, that's all I got for this time around. And I will see you guys tomorrow for my Godzilla Kong duel review. Adios. Peace.